I want to ask you about those days in Hawaii. Do you ever have flashbacks to that time in your life where you totally relocated from Australia? You didn't think you had any money. You went out there, and I remember you telling me those first couple of years, it wasn't even clear what was happening. They were like trying to tell you, your guru was trying to get you to learn things and not even showing you necessarily how to do it. And, all these strange times of trying to figure out who you were, figuring things in this strange place with these strange people. Do you ever miss those days because of their simplicity? And do you think about them differently now that you're kind of older and been through the experience and lived in New York City? So yeah, just any reflections on that time in Hawaii?
Making the decision not to renew my vows after 10 years and to leave the monastery, I would say till today in my life has been the most difficult decision I've ever made. And when I made that decision not to renew my vows and leave the monastery, I got to a place of peace of where I don't have a desire to go back to live that lifestyle. I'm very happy being a householder, a priest, having a family and the path that I'm going on. But I would say those 10 years shaped my life for sure. And especially the early years that I lived with my guru before he passed away completely shaped my life. But I would say one of the biggest things that I would take away from that is the fact that spending time, dedicated time, getting to know yourself, working with yourself is so rewarding for the rest of your life. And had I not had done that in that way, I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't be able to achieve the things I'm achieving today and living the life that I'm living today. And I feel that a lot of people don't do that. And if more people took time out of their lives, figured out themselves, got to a place of being at peace with themselves. When I say being at peace with themselves, meaning that you understand that you're a work in progress, right? There's good parts and not so good parts, and you're okay because you're working on the not so good parts. Then life becomes so much better. And I think, looking back at the monastery, the time with my guru, the time with those monks, they were the most transformative times in my life for sure. The deep work took place then, which set the foundation for me to now continue to do that work, but also live the life that I'm living now.
Painful times?
As in the monastery?
Yeah, must have been.
Yes, right? I would say both. The most spiritually rewarding times in my life, I've had such deep, profound experiences in meditations and prayer that I couldn't even begin to describe, that I don't even talk about or share, and really challenging times. Because, you talked about earlier, Ryan, when we were talking about concentration and stuff, that how everyone pulls out the phone, and because it's so uncomfortable to look within, right? So we turn to the phone, we turn to something else in today's world. In the monastery, in a very simplified way of looking at it, we strip everyone and everything away from you. So you have no contact with the outside world, the people you knew, your family, friends, relatives. You don't have, things that you turn to eat, look, watch, internet. So now you're left with yourself. So when I go back to my hut at night, I have no escape. There's nothing to turn to. No books, no papers, no journals, no internet, no TV, nobody to talk to, nothing to listen to. I'm stuck with me. And that is horribly painful because you're the worst person you can ever meet in your life. You really are. It is the most painful thing to do because you start to see everything inside of you comes up and there's nothing to stop it and there's nowhere to run to. And that's painful.
And that's also where the growth comes, because if you've got to spend those hours with yourself and you're like, who is this person? And I don't like this person, and you're not doing enough, and then you're not doing what you said you're going to do. You're living no purpose.
Yeah.
You can give yourself a nice good hiding, and then the next day when you wake up, maybe you're like, okay, well let's get better, right? Let's go do these things. Let's be better, of more service. Let's find a purpose, right? It's a way to accelerate your life. I mean, let's be honest. If you hadn't gone to that monastery, we wouldn't be talking. You'd just be another punk kid from Australia, probably, right? right?
Probably very much so. Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't disagree.
But you went into that crucible and you constructed this man that you are today that can be a beacon of light and inspiration to so many people because you spent that time in that crucible, like I said, that pressurized, uncomfortable environment of trying to find out who you were and trying to find out your answers. And yeah, I feel like that's missing in so many ways in this world for so many people. I mean, for some people there's military service, or I guess there used to be rituals and practices and rites of passage, but for you it was a very important one, it seems.
Yeah, and in certain Asian cultures, there quite often were many hundreds of years ago where young men were sent to the monastery for 2 years. Like I believe Singapore, for example, has a 2-year mandatory military service or something for people that they have to go through. But in old cultures, they would go to the monastery for 2 years to get trained about life and the mind and understand yourself. And then you decide if you want to pursue monastic life or come back out into the world and carry on. But if you came back out into the world, you'd had these 2 years of training about getting to know yourself. We don't have any of that now, Brian. We just go to school and we learn all kinds of stuff that don't really serve us at the end of the day in life. And like you talked about rites of passage, rituals, a lot of cultures have that. All of those have been abandoned. So we struggle. We struggle in life. So many people struggle because they aren't taught about how to live an effective life. And the other thing I would say, it's just not only the monastery. I had a guru, right? I had a mentor that cared for me, that took responsibility over my life, that trained me. And that made a massive difference. And look at all the people that have mentored you over the years. I think you work with a guy named Ido, right? Ido Pottle, am I saying his name right?
Yeah, I did a lot of movement training with Ido, and went to Israel and did a film with him. And yeah, I've had many mentors on this show over the years. Dandapani,
and all of them shaped you a different way, right? In some parts, but those mentors were able to guide you and say, "Hey, Brian, you're doing this incorrectly. Change this, or try it this way, or do it this way." And because they can all be there to guide you, it's helped form you to who you are today. And most people just don't have that. So how do you shape yourself when you don't have those mentors?
Yeah.
So my guru was that mentor for me in my time in the monastery, and so were the senior monks and the other monks there who helped shape and guide me and train me as I went along. And that was an amazing blessing.
Hey, do you want to profit from crypto? Then join my DeFi Academy. The Crypto DeFi Academy will help you create generational wealth. But don't take my word for it. Listen to my students.
When I first got into crypto, I remember thinking to myself, I need to learn more. Brian Rose, learning crypto, learning DeFi, gotta do it.
I am so grateful that I jumped in and did this. I had to break through some limiting beliefs that I can do this, that I can afford this, that I can be in this.
It challenges the things that are deeply rooted within us.
Joining DeFi Academy has been one of the best decisions I have made on my blockchain journey.
This course was a life changer, a game changer, a huge eye-opener, coming from knowing practically nothing at the speed of the learning over 4 weeks was just fantastic.
The information you provided in this class was invaluable.
I feel far more confident in my next steps.
You took complex concepts and made them easier to understand.
What's different than so many other ones is it just doesn't tell you what to do. It actually makes you do it.
This is for people who are serious about becoming traders. This is the way it should be done.
I realized from this learning experience again that it is not about what you learn, but about who you learn it from.
The energy was insane. I've never experienced such incredible energy on a live call. Brian Rose, you are a legend, my friend.
It's the only thing in the market where you can get all information and learn everything what you need to know.
Everything is so clear and so well done, and I am just forever grateful for this program.
It made me feel so much more confident about crypto than I did before.
I did not anticipate how passionate I was going to become about it.
It's also been like a big learning experience for me, not just in the crypto space, but just in overall balance of life.
What I've learned is, how to take ownership, of my life in a way that I really hadn't before.
yeah, you can't put a price on that, really.
I would recommend it to anybody, top notch.
Excellence does not come cheap. So if you want excellence, you gotta pay for it, but it's so worth it.
Pull the trigger. That's what this course is about.
You're not going to regret it, really. It's amazing.
Thank you, Brian and team.
So what are you waiting for? Crypto is happening now. Click the link below, submit your application, and let me mentor you on how to create generational wealth and build the decentralized financial infrastructure of the future.